Good day, guys. So, a while ago I responded to some, weirdo from Norway, right? You guys remember him? The guy who says that women can't be raped?
Okay,
Brains done
what
to me.
kind of threat or what kind of coercion? Was it real rape, like you didn't have a choice?
Well, first of all, it was either he'd have sex with me and his wife, or I would be out on the street the very next hour because I had nowhere else to go.
Then you let him have it. You chose that because you wanted to avoid a lesser outcome that he had a right to make. That is not rape by any reasonable definition.
So for you,
You were not raped. You are not a rape victim.
Yeah, that guy. So I was browsing through Twitter when I found a tweet he had made. The tweet roughly translates to, "I can't stand the face of people who support the child pornography law and other hateful sex laws." This is his translation, by the way. My translation was moral laws. The wording he used was basically the same, but he preferred sex laws, so let's use that, because it's still dumb. It continues, "All the parties do support it, therefore I cannot vote." I found this interesting, so I tweeted this at Suit Yourself, because he's done a lot of stuff on pedophilia and pedophilia laws and pedophiles, right? So I thought he might find this interesting. Now, he did not respond, so this will not be a video with him in it, but I have a couple other people coming on later on.
Hello everyone, my name is Jason Thistle.
Hey.
And this video is on Eivind berge, and we will, through this video, prove that he is actually a pro pedo.
Welcome to the channel of Skeptic Llama.
No, fuck that. No, get that away. No happy intro this time. This is a serious video, not a happy one. So the first part will be simply looking into him a little bit deeper and seeing what he actually stands for. Because, oh man, there is a lot of information about this fucked up guy. If you look into him at all, you will soon come upon a news article talking about how he has been arrested. He was arrested for inciting violence towards police people, basically saying that killing a policeman is on his bucket list. This was punished under the punishment law, paragraph 140. That law has since been revoked and now exists online only as a reference to the previous law. On his webpage, one of his commenters constantly has been referring to raping women, saying that he wants to rape women, and that raping women should be allowed and legal because the female sexuality is like a currency that they are keeping from the men. He also expresses sympathies for Anders Behring Breivik. If you guys don't know who that is the terrorist and the biggest Norwegian terrorist the last 20 years. He killed a lot of fucking young children on a political summer camp just to further his beliefs, and is now sitting in jail and probably will be sitting in jail for the rest of his life. He has more recently stated that attack on police is something 100% in harmony with everything I stand for. I maintain that police murder is both ethically and tactically correct. And here's some cringy fucking shit for anyone out there who classifies himself as an MRA. To feminist prosecutor Anne Katrine Aga, I have the following message. The men's movement is watching you, bitch, and we are seething with hatred against you personally and the police state you represent. Actions have consequences. Trials are still mostly public, and they sink into our collective minds, where they form the basis of future activism. Hate breeds hate. That is a fact of life too smugly ignored by feminists. 2011 is the year Norwegian men as a group emerged out of the blogosphere and into the battlefield. This in turn has led to a breakthrough for MRAs, such as my good self in the public discourse. Probably for the simple reason that the powers that be now realize ignoring us has deadly consequences. Men are angry now, and we have proven that we are deathly serious about resisting feminism. So the feminist prosecutors, referred to above, ought to wipe that smug look off their face before it's too late. Clearly 77 body bags wasn't enough, but I am fairly confident that you will be sorry one day. I believe those 77 body bags is in reference to the terror attack done by Anders Behring Breivik. And after looking it up, I can confirm that this is in reference to the terrorist attack of 2011, where 77 people lost their lives. Kids, mostly. Again, to the MRAs out there, I know there's a couple of you. This is from a website that tries to portray MRAs as violent and scary. So, this guy is a big threat to all that you guys want to stand for. He's basically the shitty guy that people mean when they talk about MRAs. They're like, MRAs are violent and they're women hating and all that shit. This is basically what they're talking about right here. So I found another article here talking about his imprisonment and what happened and stuff. So let's read through it ourselves. You'll see where I'm getting at when I'm saying he basically got angry at the police because he can't get laid. I'll read onwards and you'll see what I mean. The sex protest law almost made it tip over for me. Police hater and extreme blogger and self-declared anti-feminist Eivind Berge talks out about the hate, the imprisonment, and the unwanted celibacy and his life with his girlfriend. His name was first announced to the police when he last autumn went out with an enthusiastic support for Anders Behring Breivik, a man Berge called a formidable activist and a man of action with an attack that was beyond all expectations. Fuck this guy. Fucking idiot. Oh yeah, you killed 77 innocent children. Good job, dude. Beyond all expectations. Fuck you. I felt it was fantastic that the feminist state got a real enemy. I don't support his viewpoints or methods, except from everything that has to do with anti-feminism. I'm only talking about police people. I'm not talking about killing youth. Of course. Police, yeah. 3 weeks ago, Berge was arrested while he was out jogging. He was then jailed. I'm sub-reading here because it's a long one. He was then jailed and they looked through his apartment for clues for anything they could find. He was jailed for a couple of weeks. I'm just skimming through. A couple of weeks, then was freed on basis of free speech. I'm only the first foot soldier in this war. Or one of the first, he says. And declares that he would be really happy to hear about police murders. It comes from my heart. I feel real joy when the feminist state suffers a couple of losses. But I command no one. I have no network of criminal man activists ready to do anything. He now says he has gone away from violent acts, saying, I would rather not do something stupid while I'm waiting for the court order. I'd rather not do anything that gets me in jail. This could be done in a more elegant way than killing police. Now, I think it's best to avoid contributing anything positive in a society that hates us. The unwanted celibate Berge reveals that he has an education, a bachelor degree in art and one in Latin. Highly educated, you say? This fucker has gone on Twitter, sat there like fucking, I'm highly educated, guys. Yeah, a bachelor in art and in Latin. You're about as educated as my toe. Go fuck yourself. Yeah, I can't. This guy's too much. It's so fucking dumb. Which brings us on to his second topic. Pro-pedo shit. On his blog, if you want to go look at this, their link is in the description. He has a post dated Sunday, September 10th, 2017, saying Jennifer Fitcher is still not free. Jennifer Fitcher, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know, is a woman that has been jailed for 22 years over the sexual interaction with 3 of her students over 36 times. And according to Eivind berge, she was imprisoned for a stereotypically victimless sex of the kind that feminists have been so successful of criminalizing. The American justice system has now proven that it really is too obtuse and malicious, that it keeps supporting this injustice in a cold and calculated manner, and refuses to rethink its insanity at all. I notice that even the parents of the fake victims support the astonishingly draconic sentence as if it was normal, and now blame problems in their sons' lives on the contrived sexual abuse. If social mores had been slightly different, they would have blamed masturbation, witchcraft, or low self-esteem, or whatever mumbo-jumbo society believed at that time. And it goes on and on and on and on. He basically equivalates the sex between a young kid in school and a 32-year-old woman with nothing bad at all, really. Because there's not going to be anything problematic with that. I would never have guessed that men were to be imprisoned for playing with dolls or writing or reading fiction. Playing with dolls, by the way, refers to having sex with children's sex dolls. Basically, dolls, sex dolls, made to look like children. And a commenter on Twitter, when I posted this, came with the interesting idea that someone had to make these dolls. Think about it. Someone had to sit down and meticulously craft a child sex doll. Sex doll. Ugh. Imagine being that guy. Ugh. There's a lot more weird shit on his blog. So if you like reading this shit, if you're not done torturing yourself with this weird bullshit that he's spouting, go check out his blog and just have yourself a fucking laugh. Now, let's return back to what happened earlier on Twitter, and let's construct this case properly. You know who he is, you know what he's done, you know his views. Now, let's construct it together, let's construct my interactions with him, and why I now can, without any doubt, proclaim that he is pro-pedophilia. So, first he argues some semantics, saying that what I translated wasn't correct. I argued that it was correct, because his wording used the word for moral laws, not for sexual laws, which is what he meant. But we can ignore that and skip past it, because that's not interesting. So at a point, this is the same guy, by the way, I made a video about. Goodbye, cat. And when I made a video about him, he seemed to basically just disregard any experience I had in the comment section, and well, in the comment section of the original video that I used for my video. So I approached him and confronted him with this on Twitter, telling him, "You are the kind of person that wants to protect the woman that raped me at the age of 12. It's disgusting." His response is what actually started to fucking set me on the path of, he must be a pro-pedo. There's no way he couldn't be a pro-pedo. So he responded with, "What happened to you does not carry the significance of rape to any sane person. High fives all around is the appropriate reaction. High fives all around, Eivind. High fives. So if a woman goes over to a kid, forces him down, pushes him into the ground, undresses him and have sex with him, your appropriate reaction is to walk over to this kid and give him a fucking high five. You are fucked up, dude. So this brings onward. We keep bringing this forward. He actually blocked me, so I couldn't see this tweet. I'm currently sitting in incognito mode because for some reason he's blocked me away from seeing this shit. Because I was trying to refer other people and send the tweets around, and he actually got a lot of hate on Twitter. So he continues onward to reconfirm his views and say that the gender-neutral wording is disingenuous. You said it was a woman, which means it can't have the significance of rape no matter what. Basically, he's reconfirming what we originally established, that he does not think that a woman could at any point ever rape, regardless of the age of the victim. And so I tell him, yeah, because a 30-year something can't hold down a 12-year-old boy after tricking him into thinking she's 14 on that. No, that can't happen. He simply responds with, sure, it can physically happen, but the significance of the act isn't rape. Because he does not believe that a woman having sex with an underage child against that child's will, while holding the child down, carries any significance for the child, because the child wanted it. Don't take my word for it, there is one later. He actually had one here that he deleted. But fortunately, I actually remember what it said, because I fucking remember these things. He said that I suffered nothing from the actual incident. I had no repercussion of the incident. He later on started trying to label everyone who were opposing him right now as politically correct, and later on also as feminists. I have two tweets here. They should both be on the screen that will show this point. That's not, that's not a big thing in terms of what I want to frame in this video, but, just keep that in mind, that if you're anti-pedophilia, then you're feminist and you're politically correct. So, just keep that in mind. And then he continues to say, being forced to anything against your will can be an adverse experience. I don't deny that, but I don't agree women can rape. Because the typical reaction to female sexual coercion is nowhere near what you describe. If true, it just makes you an outlier. Yeah, because if you're actually presented with things that disprove your theory, you can just call them an outlier, and then you can disregard them completely. Just call everything that doesn't conform to your view an outlier, and you're fine. Now after this, there was a brief period of silence in the war. I would consider this the silence before the storm, because trust me, a storm was coming. So one of these lackeys, I guess you could call it, he holds the same beliefs pretty much, came to his defense in early next morning and said in reply to a tweet I made that reads, and then he goes and say you should be given a high five for getting raped at the age of 12. The reply was, you were not raped, that's the whole point. You are just looking for something, anything, to blame your problems in life on. I retweet this with the message, tricked, held down, forced to penetrate, 12-year-old, 30-something woman, forced to undress, no way of escaping, no consent, but it's not rape though. And this is where the shitstorm started. Eivind responds with what I can only describe as the most sickening thing I've ever seen. So he responds and says, even if true, it's not rape, but a lesser assault. But seriously, your story is apt to produce envy, not sympathy. Wish I was so lucky at 12. Which in turn I respond with, you're a sick and perverted person. So he wishes he was raped at 12. He wishes. So do you guys remember a part of my old video, a joke I made, where I don't know, I think I said in the joke that he wanted to be raped? I don't know, let's play the clip. You cannot sit there and disregard these people and just say, no, they're just outliers. They're deviants. We don't care about them. They're making laws for me because for some reason, if I have a woman rape me, she will go to jail. No, fuck you, dude. Fuck you. Just because you want to be raped by a woman, get the fucking dominatrix to rape you instead. How about that? Haha. Well, there you go, guys. He actually did want it. My response onwards was, you are a sick and perverted person. Which, you know, seems like a fucking reasonable response at this point. He responds to that with, I am the normal one, and you are either a lying braggart or a spoiled brat who is looking for acceptance into the feminist rape victim club. This, however, this sparked an outrage. I retweeted this with the text, hey guys, did you know that wanting a 30-year-old to fuck a 12-year-old is considered normal now? Me neither. That post has since blown up, gotten 37 retweets, 420 likes, and 11 responses. And that's not even the worst. On this response, on this tweet, he said, firstly, most 12-year-old boys would have happily consented, and the few who didn't would only regard it as a minor nuisance, unlike you, freak. Minor nuisance. Yeah, like, getting raped is roughly the same as getting bit by a mosquito. They're minor nuisances, right? It's basically the same. This got a outpouring of hatred from people, because this got picked up, and 186 people have since messaged him. But this isn't even the worst. This is not close to the worst that he has said so far. And if you don't believe that he is a guy who encourages old people 30 plus to have sex with young people 12 something, I have a picture that is so damning that if you can honestly look at this picture and tell me that he does not encourage pedophilia, you're lost on me. But before that, he also made a tweet in response to Lotus Wolf, who said a female pedo is a-okay then, I guess. Saying, a female pedo, if such a thing exists, is incapable of causing real harm, and so should be left alone to do as the trifle that she is. A female pedo is unable to cause real harm. Let that sink in for a moment. A female pedo cannot cause harm, is what he is proposing right here. Not surprisingly, this upset a lot of people. 215 replies. Fucking hell. Well, you waited long enough. I think it's time we bring up the most damning example I have. Except from, you know, the 100 something tweets he has about this subject right now. So here it is, in one picture. He says, I am the norm and some here agree with me too. Some, therefore he's the norm, by the way. But at the moment, I am assaulted by a swarm of feminists. Here's the part where he calls everyone who disagrees with him feminists. So if you're against pedophilia, you're a feminist, of course. Bird person responds with, I seriously want to know what you think the age of consent ought to be. Genuine question. I want to know what you think it should be. He responds with, I wouldn't argue with 13. Bird person responds with, so if a 35-year-old man was to have sex with a 13-year-old girl, that would be okay in your view. Eivind responds with, absolutely. Nothing cut, nothing edited. This is him saying straight up that he is A-okay with a 35-year-old man having sex with a 13-year-old girl. A-okay. That is pedophilia or hebophilia, whatever the fuck you want to define it. Advocating. Right there. If you can seriously look at this and say that he's not encouraging a 35-year-old man to have sex with a 13-year-old girl, then you need to get your eyes fixed. But don't take my word for this. A friend of mine called Thistle Talks also interacted with this person, and here is his recapping of the interaction.
Thanks, Llama. Hello, everyone. My name is Jason Thistle. I used to run a channel called Thistle Talks, which I've recently resurrected. Just a little bit about myself. I cannot stand child abusers. Doesn't matter to me whether it's physical violence, mental abuse, or sexual abuse, or even all three. If you ever maliciously harm a child, you are a fucking scumbag as far as I'm concerned, with virtually no redeeming qualities whatsoever. Now, the only thing that pisses me off more than this is people who defend child abusers or make excuses for child abusers. Now, as Llama has already shown, this particular fuckwit, this scumbag, believes that if a woman rapes a child, it is not in fact rape because the abuser has a vagina, like that makes any fucking difference. Well, to anyone with a fully functioning brain, it makes no fucking difference. This is the tweet that first drew my attention. This is the first one that I saw Llama share and immediately got my blood boiling. Firstly, most 12-year-old boys would have happily consented, and the few who didn't would only regard it as a minor nuisance, unlike you, freak. So, straight away, we've got someone defending the abuse of a 12-year-old and then insulting the victim. So we've got victim blaming on top of all of this. It staggers fucking belief. And you can see 192 replies, and from what I saw of this interaction, only one of them could be considered supporting him. This is where I chimed in. There's a reason why nobody under the legal age can consent, you sick fuck. Which is true. Children are not physically or mentally mature enough to make certain decisions for themselves. This is why we have consent laws. This is why anybody under the age of 18 cannot enter legal contracts without a parent or a guardian stating otherwise. I don't want to push the stereotype that children are stupid, but you cannot let children make decisions of this magnitude. They are not prepared or ready for it. This is the only reply I get from him. Yes, that reason is purely a legal fiction. For fuck's sake. You should be ashamed of yourself for treating the decree of filthy legislators as reality. So, in his mind, the people who created these laws to keep children safe, they're the enemy, they're the bad guys. Because the laws prevent him from kiddie fiddling, they're the bad guys. It can't be that this sick fuck is in the wrong. It can't possibly be that this waste of human garbage could possibly be the monster that society sees him as. And I was shocked and appalled by this statement, so I tried to. I'll apologise for my lack of grammar. I don't English well when I'm angry. I should be ashamed. Children can't consent because they're not mature enough to make those decisions. Hence, makes them easy targets for sick pedo fucks. And yes, that was supposed to say fucks. Now, so this is the only reply I get from him. He doesn't reply to me again after this point. can't possibly imagine why. I mean, it's not like he doesn't have an argument. Well, he doesn't. Truth be told, he doesn't have an argument, but he does spend a shocking amount of time replying to loads of other people, particularly Llama. But as Llama, you've already seen some of Llama's tweets, so I'm going to be focusing on my interaction with him and the tweets I've sent out. Here we are again. This is the tweet here that brought me into this, and we've got other people jumping in at this point. You are a sick fuck. Go play in traffic. He is not faking victimhood. Men can be raped, you immoral cunt. And then we've got another one here. A female pedo is A-OK, I guess. And again, this, what he says in return just blew me away. A female pedo, if such a person exists, is incapable of causing real harm, and so should be left alone as the trifle that she is. A female rapist is a trivial matter as far as this degenerate scumfuck is concerned. I legitimately do not understand what the fuck is wrong with this person. He's already victim blamed Llama for being a victim of female rape, and now he's going out of his way to defend a fucking paedophile. So of course, again, this got my blood boiling. Of course they exist, you fucking nutjob. Having a vagina doesn't excuse them from being a pedo. The fuck is wrong with you? And it doesn't. I don't care what genitals you're packing in your fucking pants. If you mess with children in a sexual manner, you are a paedophile, you are a rapist, and you deserve every bad thing that happens to you. It's another reply from him. He's not replying to me, he's replying to somebody else, but again, I have to wade in. We've got the original tweet again up here. What the fuck is wrong with you? Why the fuck are you justifying paedophilia and rape? Because he is. There's absolutely no denying that he is justifying it. And completely blasé and fucking... He's fucking gone. I'm doing neither. Just exposing ridiculous false definitions of both rape and paedophilia. If it was physically possible to reach through a computer screen and smack some cunt in the face, this fucker would be getting it. I make no apologies for that comment. So again, I chime in. No, you're exposing yourself as pro-pedo and pro-rape. You're so detached from reality. And he is. Because, as I said before, the reality of the situation is children cannot be trusted to make decisions for themselves. At such a young age, they need guidance and support to help them gain an understanding of the consequences of the decisions they're going to be making down the line. You cannot trust a child to grasp the enormity of the situation that they will probably they are going to get themselves into. And that's why we have these laws in place, to protect children from themselves and from these sick fucks who would take advantage of them. This is the last tweet from me in this whole debacle, because I had to take a break. Even Llama told me to take a break at one point because I was getting so angry. This is the only tweet I saw that could be seen as defending this piece of shit. If they consented, which most would, then they would not have been raped. because apparently statutory rape is not a thing in this person's eyes. And I just simply said, 12-year-olds can't consent because they can't. I don't care what your stance is on female male rapists on children. 12-year-olds cannot consent. End of fucking story. Well, there is one thing I would like to add to this whole thing. It pisses me off immensely that it's seen as women can't be rapists or women can't be aggressors in regards to sexual violence and rape. And one of the reasons why, here in the UK at least, is what I'm going to show you here. The Sexual Offences Act of 2003. The wording of this law says it all. Rape. A person, A, commits an offence if A, he intentionally penetrates the vagina, anus or mouth of another person, B, with his penis. Very specifically goes out of its way to say that it has to be a man doing this. B, person B does not consent to the penetration, and C, person A does not reasonably believe that B consents. This entire law in the UK Sexual Offences Act pretty much states men rapists, women victims, end of story. This disgusts me more than I can possibly describe to you right now. I know there is a petition going around to try and get the rape laws changed to include female rapists. I've signed it, I've shared it on various social medias. This needs to change. We cannot let these sick fucks get away with touching children, and we cannot let abusers who are women get off far more leniently than male aggressors simply because they're women. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. If you touch a child, you are a scumbag and you need to be punished to the fullest extent of the law. Anyway, I am going to leave it here. This has just been my thoughts on the situation and my interaction with this particular sicko. I'm going to throw you back to Llama.
Thank you, Thistle. Now, after all that, I'd like to inform everyone who ever interacts with this guy or ever sees this guy that he's dangerous. But I won't do it. I will leave this to Chambers of my heart. Take it away, Chambers.
Hey, so as we can see from the video, this guy is completely off of his rocker. We have here another closet pedo in our neighborhood. Joy. So, to take from this, I want you guys to report his Twitter. If there is a way to report his blog, please do so. If you are a minor, please do not go and try and reason with him. And if he starts interacting with you, please block him and let us know. There's going to be a list of people in the description below, including myself, that you can go and reach out to saying, hey, he's coming around and bugging me. There's been a couple of us who have been arguing with him on and off, some of us more than others. I know he has gone out of his way to flat out ignore me when I told him that you're using feminist logic, saying that men are the only ones capable of raping. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up his information to refresh you guys. Here it is. He lives in Bergen, Norway. Now, from what I've been told, he is not supposed to be on the internet because he's already been arrested, like Llama said. He's been arrested for rape apologetics, for threatening to kill the police, and this case was 5 years ago, but still, from what I understand, he's not supposed to be online. He's not even supposed to be doing a blog. So for those of you who live in Bergen, Norway, please contact your authorities and see if there's something that can be done. I live here in the States, so I don't have international calling. I am unable to alert anybody in that country police-wise. Here's a number to one of the police stations. I don't know if those of you who have international calling on your phones will take the time to dial the number, but here's his information. Here is the number to one of the Bergen, Norway police stations. I went and looked up, and as you can see, the phone number, the format of it is completely different in comparison to those of the States, so I wouldn't even know how to dial it from my own phone. I've never done international calling before. And something I do want to iterate, because I've touched upon this on my own channel, is we have seen an uptake in pro-pedophilia channels, pro-pedophilia Twitter users. They're becoming more and more commonplace, which is not normal. With the way that society's going, with the way that many things are starting to fall into place, we're seeing this become more and more normalized. And for those of us who have actually been through those traumatic events of being sexually abused by an adult, whether it be family member, step-parent, what have you, this is not okay. And I know for me personally, it's really upsetting because it just seems I keep running into more and more and more of this. This is my third pedo, so to speak, that I've run into this week, and that's not normal. This is not normal with what's going on. So what I need you guys to do, because this is in general as well, if you see or happen to come upon someone who's pro-pedophilia, claims to be a pedo, please alert the people in the list in the description below. There's going to be Twitter handles for you to reach out to, because there is a group of people here on YouTube that do set out to handle these people, not incite violence. This is something I really want to specify and iterate. Do not go out of your way to attack these people physically. If you get hold of their information and you're not comfortable with passing it on to the police, give it to one of us and we will phone the police. But do not go out of your way to physically harm them. Understand, this is something for the law to deal with. If you get hold of their info and you are able to contact the police in your area with evidence, please do so. But do not go out of your way. Do not incite others to go out of the way to physically attack these people, because that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to get these people publicly ousted as well as legally dealt with. That is our goal. We're not vigilantes. We're just adults trying to take care of this, because Twitter, YouTube, other websites don't want to deal with this anymore and refuse to. So please, you have the info. You're not comfortable, pass it on to one of us. We will deal with it. But if you have the info and you are comfortable, please pass it to the authorities and let them deal with it and spread awareness to others. Now, with all that being said, once again, our current one, Eivind Burgess, if you see him, report his accounts, alert others, and block them. Do not engage, especially if you are a minor. Even though being a rape apologist or pedo advocate is not against the law, if we can at least get him on a watch list, that will be doing something, so that way he can be kept an eye on even further outside of the incidents he's already had. His info is listed here in this video. Here it is once again. If you live in Bergen, Norway, and you are able to contact the authorities, please do so. This individual is dangerous. He's been arrested a few times already for threatening to kill police, for threatening terrorism, and for his rape apologetics. So please watch out for this individual. And with all that being said,
anyways guys, thank you guys for watching, and stay
fucking
fucking classy.